What's up, everybody? I'm Clayton. You're listening to Ages of Fear podcast number 41, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, released in 2022, directed by David Blue Garcia with a $22 million budget. Those are the numbers for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We are going through the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise right now. It's 50 years of TCM this year. So we're just honoring that and appreciating the legacy of Texas Chainsaw by going through each of these movies and reviewing them. This is the final one. This is the last one in the series. We've gone through all of them so far. It's been an interesting ride. Some really good watches and really good movies, and other ones that I never care to see again. I'll say this: we're finishing on a positive note, though. That's the good thing. We're ending on a positive note for me personally. I will just go ahead and say I am a fan of this movie. So we're ending on a good note. That's a good thing. You want to start strong and you want to end strong. So, and I think TCM does that. We get, the first movie is really good, and the latest movie is pretty good. So, what's up, everyone? Hope you're doing well. To any new subscribers out there, I just want to say thank you very much for coming over, smashing that subscribe button, and joining the family. Just a couple recommendations for all of you. If you're looking for other great horror channels out there, let me recommend Movies and Beyond to you with Michael. Michael's a great guy with a badass channel over there. He does live streams all the time. He's doing paranormal reactions on Fridays. Go check that out. He does horror hangouts on Sundays. He's doing fan film watch-alongs on Mondays. He's always got something going. So go over to Movies and Beyond, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and go kick it with Michael of Movies and Beyond. Also, Eric with the Bearded Entertainment, another great channel that I would recommend to all of you to go check out. Eric's also got some great content over there that he's always putting out. Do the same for him. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Go enjoy all of his awesome content as well. And then if you're a fan of movies in general and you just want a good YouTube channel of movie reviews, I would recommend Brian Lomax to you. Brian's a good friend of mine. Had him on Ages of Fear in our Shining episode. Go check that out in the archives. Brian's a good dude. He's got a great channel over there. So go show him some love and support. Smash the like button and subscribe to Brian's channel as well. All right. All that out of the way, let's wrap up our TCM review series with the latest in this franchise. Now, this was actually a Netflix released film. So this was not a theatrical film, which is why I didn't mention what it grossed in the box office, because it didn't have a box office. This was a streaming film. It came out on Netflix. It's still on Netflix if you want to check it out, if you haven't already. Which, if you haven't checked this movie out, spoiler alert, just FYI. But so go check out Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix. Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to get into my thoughts on this movie, but just as a reminder, guys, this is just my opinion on this movie. So there's no need to be upset or offended by anything that I have to say. You are entitled to your opinion. I would love to hear your opinion of this movie in the comment section. Let me know what you think of this film. My opinion isn't the right opinion. It's just my opinion. So all I ask that you be respectful to my opinion, and I will be respectful to yours. So That out of the way, and as a disclaimer, I will get into my thoughts of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, starting as always with the positives. So one of the positives right out of the gate for me is Leatherface. I thought that Leatherface was pretty good in this movie, played by Mark Burnham. Yeah, I thought Mark did a pretty good job with the character with Leatherface. He looked very imposing, very intimidating. He's a big dude, man. So I thought he looked the part really good. He was aggressive. He was, he didn't pull his punches. I liked the mask, the Leatherface mask in this movie. I've heard some people kind of dog this movie for the mask. It seems like a lot of people that I've listened to talk about this movie were not a fan of the Leatherface mask that he was wearing in this film. The old lady's face that dies in the car wreck out in the poppy field or whatever it was. Yeah, a lot of people apparently not a fan of that mask. I like it. I do. I think it's a creepy looking mask, man. You look at that mask and you get that kind of uneasy feeling in your stomach. I liked it. I thought it looked good. Looks creepy. So yeah, the look of Leatherface, the performance of Leatherface, how they used Leatherface in the movie, I thought was all really good, and that's a strong positive for me. I've said it multiple times now on this review series. When you get the villain, when you get the killer right, that earns you a lot of points for me personally, in my overall rating of the film, because that's going to play high into my entertainment and my enjoyment of the film, which is one of my three criteria for rating the movie. So, and they get the killer right. I think they get Leatherface right on in this movie. So yeah, he was a big positive for me. The kills were positive. We get some savage kills in this movie. It's a pretty high body count as well, pretty high RIP count for Leatherface, especially the scene with him in the bus towards the end, where you get this whole bus full of tourists, and Leatherface just, goes crazy, wielding that chainsaw, just hacking them up left and right, pulling a little Darth Vader from Rogue One. Yeah, I liked it. He really, he didn't hold back, and I like that. So yeah, some good kills, a lot of bloody, visceral kills in the movie as well. So the kills were pretty good for me. That was a positive. I did think that the script was pretty well handled as far as scene to scene. There weren't really a whole lot of plot holes here. Excuse me. Weren't really a whole lot of plot holes in this movie. You didn't get a lot of those plot conveniences in the movie that we've gotten in a lot of the other TCM movies. Quite frankly, you didn't get those here. It felt like this script was much tighter edited, much tighter put together. You didn't get a lot of those plot conveniences. You didn't have a whole lot of plot holes here. There's a couple towards the end of the movie that I'll talk about when I get to the negatives, but overall, I would say that the script here for me was a positive. I liked it. I thought it was well handled, well written, well structured. So that was a positive. The pacing, another positive. I thought it was pasted really well. Went by at a pretty good pace. I enjoyed the tension. I thought the tension was also well handled. The scene with the ambulance car when it crashes, and you have that girl in the front seat, and Leatherface is outside in the field walking around, like the tension building in that scene. Is she going to get out? She has to be quiet. She's trying to crawl her way out of the van. Some good tension building in that scene. A couple other moments in the film with the native guy, the guy with the beard, the mechanic guy that's working on the car. The scene where he confronts Leatherface upstairs in the bedroom. That was another good tension building scene. So I thought that the tension was well handled, which is a strong positive in a horror film. That's kind of what horror films are built on, that tension, that suspense building moment. And I thought those were handled pretty well in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So that was another positive for me. The cinematography was a positive. I thought this was a beautifully shot movie. A lot of really good camera work here as well. Some really interesting shots that they did with the camera. Some interesting, techniques and stuff that they were doing. A lot of great shots of Leatherface. Thinking of the scene in the field where he holds up that lady's face, and you see through her face, through that mask, as he's holding it up to the sun. You see through it. There's just the way the camera positioning there, and the way that you see that scene, I thought was really well shot and well executed. There's some shots of Leatherface in the mirror that we see. The camera placement there I thought was good. So a lot of really cool stuff that they were doing with the camera in this movie that I liked. So the cinematography was a positive for me as well. So, and then it was entertaining. I did have a good time with it. I thought it was a pretty entertaining film for me. So, and I did like that it one other thing, and this might get me into some trouble, and I don't mean it to be that. I'm just, again, giving you my thoughts and reasons why I like this movie. And another reason I like this movie was because it was anti-woke in a lot of ways. I've heard people try to accuse it of being woke. This movie is really anti-woke. It actually is doing things and telling you stuff that is against and is in opposition towards the woke movement. So, they try to paint, like guns out to be this really bad thing, but then they turn around and show you the characters that are, anti-guns, end up being the characters that pick up guns and arm themselves with guns in order to take out Leatherface. You have a white male being a actually try to be a heroic figure. They initially paint him out to be like this kind of asshole character, but then they turn that around and they actually have this guy willing to risk himself to save this girl that hated him and was, being nothing but disrespectful to him. He actually turns around, is willing to sacrifice his life to save her in a heroic fashion. So it actually goes against the woke movement and actually has a white male be a heroic character in the movie, instead of just this asshole incompetent person that can't do anything and it's just a bigot in different ways. So I enjoyed that because it was a movie that took the typical formula for story writing these days in film and Hollywood, unfortunately. And it turns that on its head. And it actually just allows you to enjoy a horror movie without, without having certain agendas shoved in your face the entire time. And I appreciated that. So that was another positive for me. Not trying to get political. I'm just, again, laying out positives that I had with the movie. All right. So moving on into the negatives. There are a few negatives, a few things that do weigh this movie down a little bit for me. One of those negatives for me is with the characters. I wasn't really a fan of the characters in this movie. They weren't really likable. You have the main girl, Melody, and her sister, what was her name? Leela or something like that. Which Leela was fine. I could, she wasn't annoying. I could kind of get on board and I was okay with her. But Melody, for me, was a very annoying character and an unlikable character. I mean, her and Dante, the other one of the other main characters that we're following in this movie, they just are these entitled, very self-centered, young adults with their heads up their ass, thinking that they can just come into this town and kick this old lady out of her building, when Dante ended up not even having the paperwork, the legal paperwork that he needed to kick her out of the house. They end up causing this old lady to essentially have a heart attack. And they don't even care about her. Like, Melody's whole concern is she just wants to be on the right side of the law. Dante doesn't really even give a shit. Like, there's no concern for this old lady's well-being at all. All they care about is themselves and being on the right side of, the Melody just doesn't want to get in trouble legally. That's her whole, she doesn't care about the lady. She doesn't give two shits about the lady. She just cares about wanting to know that she's on the right side of the law. But the real concern should be on this lady that the two of you just kind of essentially led to having a heart attack and dying. They're just such unlikable characters in this movie. They're not even entertaining. That's the thing. I've said it multiple times. I don't have to like all the characters in the movie, but at least make them entertaining. And these characters are not even entertaining to me. They're just annoying. I just want them to die. I don't care about Melody. So, in the third act, when you think she's going to die, zero impact there for me, because I don't give a shit about her. I want her to die. I don't give a shit when Dante dies. Or any of the other characters in this movie, other than the mechanic guy, who actually is the only person that seems to have any type of moral compass in the movie, and Leela, who also is actually has some brains on her, and is willing to do what needs to be done to survive, and is actually somewhat of a likable character. So, but the main characters that we're supposed to be investing with and supposed to like, I don't like. And I find them incredibly annoying. So the characters, for me, I'm not really a fan. The story also, I thought, was a little weak. This is supposed to take place like 48 years after the events of the original. This is another TCM movie that pretty much ignores everything that came before it, other than just the original. So we have the original timeline and then Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So it's supposed to be like 48 years after the original. And, the story of these entrepreneurs, I guess, these tourists coming in to Texas, into this town, and like, what exactly are they supposed to be doing? Like, maybe it's just me and my dumbass brain that couldn't figure it out. I've seen this movie multiple times now. I'm still not sure exactly what it was that these characters are supposed to be doing in this town. Like, Dante and his fiance apparently have bought this building, this old orphanage building, to do what with it exactly? They're not turning it into an orphanage again. So what exactly was their goal? Like, I know that they were not about to live there. Like, these, not these young, entitled, rich assholes that don't care about the well-being of others. I know they weren't planning on living there. If they were not going to make it a month without moving back. So it's just like, what was the point? Like, what are we doing? What's the story here? Why are we bringing these characters into this village? Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me, but to me, the story here is just very unclear. And I don't know that it's really a necessary story to tell. I don't know that it really offers anything to anybody, to any of the characters. The story doesn't really enhance or elevate any of the characters in this movie. It's not like a driving force in the movie. It's just a way to get these characters into the script to be killed off. Like, but there's no actual story driving this movie along from scene to scene. So the story I thought could have been better handled and better written, in my opinion. Also, the ending. So what I want to talk about with the ending, with a couple of the script issues, was the fact that they bring Leatherface back again at the end of this movie after he had been shot multiple times and obviously drowned in that, in that water hole. Multiple hours go by. Now it's, dawn of a new day out. And you're telling me that these girls didn't notice that he gotten out of that water hole? Like, what were they doing for, the past 6 hours? I would guess probably sleeping for a few hours, but why didn't Leatherface kill them then? Like, did he literally just get out of the water hole when he comes running out into the street to kill Melody? If so, there's no possible way he could have lived or survived that long underwater. And if he had gotten out, a few seconds after they dropped him into that water hole, why was he waiting around to kill them for another 8 hours? It made no sense. It felt very shoehorned in, very unnecessary. Just another way to bring Leatherface back to kill off Melody, because we have to have only one survivor in a TCM movie. So let's kill Melody off. Well, how are we going to do it if Leatherface already drowned? Well, let's just bring him back anyways and have him kill Melody. Like, it was unnecessary. It wasn't needed. It didn't do anything for anybody. And it's lazy writing. Like, the guy, he doesn't have superpowers. This isn't Jason. This isn't Freddy. This is just a guy. This is just a man. It's not even the Shape. Like, this is just a guy. There's no way that he would still be alive at this point. So, that was definitely negative for me. I did not like the ending in this movie. And also, bringing Sally back in the movie. Look, when she gets that chainsaw through her body, and then he carves up her body, saws up her body with the chainsaw, and then tosses her several feet. And she's still alive. Like, minutes after that, she's still trying to shoot him. It's like, no, you would be dead. You would be dead right now. He literally sawed up your body through your heart and your sternum. You would be dead. Yeah, yeah. You're not, and you're like what, in your mid 60s. Yeah, you're dead. You're dead, lady. Yeah, that was another plot inconvenience there. But up until the third act, and those couple sequences there, I thought the script was pretty tight and pretty well, you know, put together. So, but third act, they kind of dropped the football on a couple of places, couple of fumbles there, but I didn't care. Like, to me, it bothered some people that, how they treated Sally in the movie, bringing her back to not really be a big part of the movie, just to be killed off in that way. That didn't bother me. It didn't bother me because, to be honest with you guys, I don't give a shit about Sally. I'm sorry, I just don't. Like, I didn't care for her character in the original Texas movie. I don't care for her character in this movie. She's just, she didn't offer me anything in the original movie for me to like her. Like, yeah, she was, she went through some stuff in the movie, but, and you can kind of feel bad for her, but that doesn't mean that she's a likable character. There's nothing about her. There's nothing about her personality. There's nothing about her as a character that I really like all that much. And again, instead of caring about the actual victims, she just cares about getting her revenge on Leatherface. So to me, I don't give a shit about Sally. I don't care that they had her die in the way that they had her die. I don't come to TCM movies for Sally. I'm sorry, I don't. I come for Leatherface. Why Leatherface didn't just hack her up right from the beginning, I don't know. Why she didn't just shoot Leatherface upstairs in that room? She could have saved that the whole rest of the film if she would have just shot him right there in the beginning. Yeah, yeah. Anyways, I didn't write the film. I'm sorry. I'm just reviewing the film. That's it, guys. Those are my thoughts on Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Overall, I would give this movie 3.5 stars. I do really like this movie. I think it does get a lot of things right. And the things that it gets right are very important things to get right. Getting Leatherface right. Getting the tension right. Getting, the visual presentation of the movie, the cinematography, the pacing, getting those things right. Giving us good kills in the movie. Being entertaining. Those are all things that are big positives for me in my overall assessment and opinion on the movie. So overall, 3.5 stars. That's my rating of this movie. What are your thoughts on this movie? Let me know in the comments section. Thank you guys for kicking it with me through this TCM franchise. I'm going to bring one more TCM video to you freaks. We're going to do a ranking video, ranking all the Texas movies. That should be coming hopefully by Friday. But yeah, stay tuned for that. And until next time, kick it and rock on.